Today, we're diving into the origins of Sikhism. And let me tell you, this is so much more than just a history lesson. It's really the story of a revolutionary idea, a message of absolute unity and equality that all started with the vision of just one person. So let's start with a big question, one that gets right to the heart of it all. What if the whole point of faith wasn't to build walls between people, but to tear them down? What if it was all about oneness? Well, that single idea is the key to the entire story we're about to unfold. All right, so to really get Guru Nanak's message, we have to kind of set the stage. We need to understand the world he was born into, which was, to put it mildly, a place that was completely fractured by social status and religious conflict. So, right into this divided world, in the year 1469, a child named Nanak is born. And from a very early age, it was clear he was, well, different. While the other kids were out playing, Nanak was quiet, meditative. He just wasn't interested in going through the motions of religious rituals. Instead, he was always asking these huge, deep questions about life, about God, about what it all means. And all that questioning eventually led him to this incredible, profound realization summed up in two words: Ik, Onkar. It means there is only one God. Think about that. Not a different God for this group and that group, but one single, universal creator for every single person. In a society that was literally built on division, this idea wasn't just new, it was a bombshell. Okay, so he has this deeply personal belief, but how does that spark a global faith? Well, it all goes back to one pivotal, completely life-changing event. Picture this. Guru Nanak is now about 30 years old. It's just a normal morning. And like he does every single day, he heads down to the local river for his bath and meditation. But this day was going to be anything but normal. He wades into the water, and then he's just gone, vanished, without a single trace. And he wasn't just gone for a few minutes. One day passes, then two, then 3 whole days. His family, his friends, they searched everywhere. The entire village just assumed the worst had happened, that he must have drowned. But then, on that 3rd day, he walks out of the water, he reappears, and everyone can see he's not the same person who walked in. He's been transformed. The very first words he speaks are, "There is no Hindu, there is no Muslim." Now, what he meant was that, in the eyes of the one creator, the labels we put on ourselves just don't matter. We are all, first and foremost, human. And that moment right there, that's seen as the true beginning of his mission. So you've had this profound divine revelation. How do you actually translate that into a practical guide for how people can live their lives every single day? Well, Guru Nanak broke it down into 3 simple, incredibly powerful pillars. And here they are. First, Nam Japna. Always keep God in your mind. Remember that divine connection. Second, Kirit Karni. Make your living honestly, with integrity. And third, Vanchakna. Share what you have with others, especially those in need. Now, this sounds pretty straightforward, right? But this was a revolutionary social code. It took spiritual power out of the hands of the elite and put it directly into the hands of ordinary people, saying you can live an ethical, spiritual life through your own actions. So, armed with this clear and simple message, Guru Nanak knew he couldn't just stay put. He had to share it. And so he set off on a series of absolutely incredible journeys to bring this truth to the world. And these journeys, which are known as the Udasis, were just immense. I mean, we are talking thousands and thousands of miles, mostly on foot. He went all over India, up into Tibet, down to Sri Lanka, and even all the way to the Middle East. The sheer scale of it just shows how committed he was to reaching everyone, no matter where they were from or what they believed. And he didn't go alone. His travel companion was his lifelong friend, a Muslim musician named Bhai Mardana. Think about that, a perfect symbol of his message. Mardana would play his instrument, and Guru Nanak would sing these beautiful, divine hymns. Their whole approach wasn't to get into heated debates. It was to connect with people's hearts through music and inspiration. You know, it's one thing to talk about equality, but it's something else entirely to put it into practice where everyone can see it. And that's exactly what Guru Nanak did next. He created an institution to make equality a living reality. He started this amazing concept called Langar, the community kitchen. And the rule was simple but powerful. Everyone, and I mean everyone, Whether you were a king or a beggar, whatever your background or religion, would sit together on the floor as equals to share the same meal for free. This was brilliant. That one simple act of sharing food shattered all the social rules of the time about caste and status. It was a living, breathing demonstration of his most fundamental teaching. Before God, all the lines we draw between each other disappear. We are all equal. So, after his travels, Guru Nanak founded a community at a place called Kartarpur, where people could actually live out these teachings. But here's another crucial thing he did. When it came time to choose who would lead after him, he didn't choose one of his sons. Instead, he chose his most dedicated disciple. He established a leadership based on merit, not on bloodline, to make sure the light would be carried forward. And those followers who gathered around this amazing message came to be called Sikhs. The word Sikh itself means learner or disciple. And that's so important because it tells you that this path isn't a static set of beliefs. It's a continuous, lifelong journey of learning and seeking truth. So when you put it all together, the dawn of Sikhism was so much more than just the start of another religion. It was a full-blown spiritual and social movement. A movement built on equality, on service, and on that truly radical idea that we are all, every one of us, part of a single human family. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Here we are, 5 centuries later, in a world that's still so often searching for unity, still fractured by so many of the same old divisions. What can we learn today from the simple, powerful message of that one seeker who had the courage to say, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is only humanity?